Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Locked On Flames. I'm your host, Jess Belmosto, and today's episode is brought to you by Rock Auto. Today, we are going to jump into discussing this very interesting start that the Flames have brought upon us. Let's get into it.
You're Locked On Flames, your daily podcast on the Calgary Flames. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Oh my goodness, everyone. I hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday. Like I said, my name's Jess, and I am here for you every day. Wow, this Flames team coming out of the gate colder than a Calgary winter. What can I say? But sometimes it's the best teams that get off to a slow start, or it's the worst teams that get off to a hot start. I mean, look at Buffalo. Every fall, every October, we say this team's a wagon. This team's great. Usually, when they have their now former captain Jack Eichel on the ice, but they're usually done by November. And then, of course, you have the St. Louis Blues, who were in last place in January and then turned it around and won the cup in June. Speaking of winners, Blake Coleman, welcome to the Flames, baby. You are here. You don't have to worry about the big name acquisition, getting off to a cold start narrative that might transpire here in the media, because you scored first for the Flames last night in an overtime loss to the Anaheim Ducks. But, I think that it's okay. And I think it's still a little too early to panic. I do. And it's just not a big enough sample size yet. We've only played 2 games. There's no real reason to sweat. But Matthew Tkachuk has some serious coordination skills. I don't know how he did what he did, but he was trying to stop the puck, and just deflected it, and it went over the glass, which resulted in a delay of game penalty. So Anaheim was on the power play, and naturally, our penalty kill was abysmal. But I feel like we're screaming the same things over and over again when it comes to penalties, because 9 times out of 10 they are avoidable, and it's just very frustrating to try to sit here and say things like, this team's good, but they just need to stay out of the penalty box, because um I can only say it so much before I start questioning my insanity. Thank you. And I thought that the Flames were going to be okay. I really did. Number one, it's Anaheim. And I know we don't underestimate our opponents here on Locked On Flames, but it's early in the season, and I thought that they would have it in them. I did. And especially when Lindholm scored, but the false hope gets the best of us. I cannot talk today. But losing in overtime, at least to get the loser point, okay. Could be worse, I guess. But it's on brand for the Flames to start off slow, I feel like. To lose to Edmonton the way that they did, 5-1, is just embarrassing isn't strong enough of a word to describe that, but it's just truly on brand for the Flames. The bright side here is that Johnny had 2 assists. So he's creeping his way up to 500 career points. Right now he has 497 or 96. Really good stuff. Just, we just got to keep trucking. There's no other choice. It's a long season. And yes, every point matters, but you can only do so much when you're still trying to create chemistry, and the defensemen on the ice aren't exactly being set up to succeed. So we shall see, my friends. But coming up next, we are going to talk about the defenseman. We're gonna address the elephant in the room and the lines at practice today. We just have to, okay? I don't want to do this as much as you don't want to do this. So we'll do that, but first, let me talk to you about BetOnline AG. BetOnline AG has a new website, a whole new interface, a whole new layout for you, and it'll make it so much easier to place your sports bets. And you can bet on football, hockey, basketball, playoff baseball, college football, whatever your heart desires. So head on over to BetOnline AG today and use promo code Locked On for a 50% welcome bonus when you make your first deposit. So I think that that's pretty fair. I think that, new account, first deposit, promo code, giving you free money. So head on over to BetOnline AG today and sign up today for your free account. Make that first deposit and use promo code Locked On for a 50% welcome bonus. And I don't know about you, but I am horrendous at keeping track of my logins, what channel I need to watch this on, what device I need to be on, and I watch this on that and that on this. DirecTV is here to save our lives. You know why? Because they are offering a new no contract program called DirecTV Stream, and it bundles everything you need all in one place, easy to find. All you need is a compatible device. So head on over to directtv.com today to learn more about that. And, why not make your life easier and consolidate everything with DirecTV Stream? Locked On Flames continues. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Jess Belmosto. So Audie James, guest of the show, he tweeted out today, through 2 games, the Flames have outshot opponents 90-60 while being outscored 8-4 in the same span. They're also third in league for expected goals for percentage and 26th in expected goals against. This team is generating high danger chances and quality chances, but they're not converting, missing the finishing touch. I guess he just doesn't finish. Yes. So again, our big issue here is following through on plays. I think that it is something that a lot of teams do struggle with, especially in the beginning of a season. I know that you're still trying to get into that rhythm of playing hockey again. And, some people just aren't confident. And I think that we've seen it with Johnny a few times. He comes to mind, especially with my first season covering the team, when it comes to somebody who is just not following through with their shots. I don't think that it's his, this is on him currently, but I just think that there are plenty, the stats don't lie, but I think that there just needs to be some sort of follow through with the players, and hopefully that's something that they're working on in practice, because it would be quite unfortunate if they are not doing that. Considering that is what's hurting them. But it's really nice to see them shooting the puck. And I know that is quite literally the bare minimum, but the shots are what matter here, especially when you want to win a game. So I just, I don't know. I don't know how else to make it clear that they need to just continue to follow through with shooting the puck and shoot it. But we need to talk about the elephant in the room, okay? We got to do it. Nikita Zadorov. I still don't entirely know what he was brought in for. don't really see the appeal other than the fact that he's a big boy. He's big. He fits into the Sutter system that way. But I was looking at the charts that all these smart hockey people make, and you know who's on the bad side? I'll give you a second. Because, yeah, it's Nikita Zadorov, okay? Like, let's be honest here. Uh, you can't pair one of your top defenders, if not your best defender, with your worst player and expect them to be good. Chris Tanev deserves so much better than what Sutter is giving him to work with. I think that it is embarrassing, to say the least. I just they're just not a good pair. And, when you pair a good defender with a bad defender, it isn't going to elevate the bad defender to the good defender's level. It's going to bring them both down, or bring the good one down to the bad one's level, because you can't make someone better, but you can certainly make someone worse in a situation like that. And it's just really uncomfortable to watch, knowing, that Hanifin and Tanev were such a dynamic duo last season, and to have them separated is just not really what I expected. It's not how I predicted the season to start. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that and see what Daryl Sutter's doing, because every time I try to make sense of what he's doing, this started last year. I don't know what I don't know what you like. You can't guess what this man's doing. You don't make sense of it. So today, the practice lines were tweeted, right? It was Gaudreau, Lindholm, and Kachuk, right? Okay, like, that's good. I'm glad that he's keeping them together. And then you got Lucic, Monahan, and Lewis. What are we doing there? And then you have Mangiapane, Dubé, and Brett Ritchie, Coleman, Backlund, and Pitlick. And then Hanifin with Stone, Shillington and Tanev, Valimaki, and Goodbranson. Rasmus Anderson and Zadorov did not practice today. And if you are like me, you are probably panicking because you see that second line and you're like, expletive, 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 what is this? All these thoughts just kind of came into my head, and I was like, oh my God, we're still in like the first week of the season. What is he doing? But I guess that the second line and the fourth line are going to technically be flipped. Allegedly. Don't know. And I also don't know how you can bury Blake Coleman like that. After he scored your first goal of the night last night in his first game as a Calgary Flame since he was suspended for the season opener. Again, what do I know? And we're going to talk about Oliver Shillington's future here in Calgary, because I feel like we need to get him out of here earlier than we did with Sam Bennett, although I feel like it's at the same point, because he needs to go thrive somewhere else if the Flames aren't going to utilize him. And it would just be a shame to see that talent go to waste. So coming up next, we are going to talk more about kind of stuff that's going on around the league and catch up on news over the weekend, because, well, why not? But first, let me talk to you about Rock Auto. Rock Auto is a great place for anyone who likes to find car parts And if you're like me, I hate going to the mechanics. I hate leaving my house. I quite literally hate doing anything that involves me to socialize. And um, Rock Auto makes it very easy for you to do that all from your home. And of course, all you have to do is head on over to rockauto.com today and use their how did you hear about us section to let them know that Locked On sent you. All right, everyone. So, if you can tell, I'm getting stuffier as the episode goes on. I have my Starbucks tea here. If you're listening or watching on YouTube, hello. I'm drinking the medicine ball from Starbucks. This is delicious. But I feel myself getting very stuffy, and I apologize. So, yesterday, or the night before, I Evander Kane is suspended. It's announced that he submitted a false COVID vaccine card. I don't know about you guys, but if there's one thing, like, it's one thing, I'm not encouraging anyone to forge your parent's signature on a test, but if you're an adult like me, you probably did it on a test or two. Hi mom, if you listen, I'm sorry. I forged your signature in 6th grade on a math test because if I didn't, I was going to have to call you in front of the entire class. And that's just embarrassing. So, Evander Kane forged medical documents and submitted a false vaccine card, and he was suspended for 21 games. So that's what, a quarter of the season? And I just, I don't really have any thoughts. I don't, because none of them are nice. I'm not going to tell you that you need to get vaccinated. I'm not going to tell you need to, I would prefer it if you did, of course, in the interest of public health, but it's just very embarrassing that this is where the league steps in, and considering they haven't even released a statement in regards to the Chicago Blackhawks abuse stuff, like they haven't, but this is where they decide to be like, oh, you submitted fake documents? This is bad. Yes, it is bad, but like, their priorities seem to be very mixed up. And all I have to say is, don't be like Evander Kane. Okay? It's that easy. Just don't be like him. And of course, the Canucks announced that Travis Hamonic will be stepping away from the team and on a leave of absence. And there are a lot of people still harping on this vaccination status thing. And while I understand why you might think that, there have been reports saying that this isn't about vaccines. And I have to take a second. If you were cheering for Carey Price or Robin Lehner when they talk about, stepping away from the game to take care of their mental health, or when Robin Lehner is very positive and I don't want to say very positive, but when he's discussing his story and when he's sharing his struggles, you can't tell me that you care about mental health or a player's well-being while bashing like Travis Hamonic, because the reason he's stepping away is undisclosed. It's not like, you can speculate. You're speculating based off of, rumors, probably false information, and it's dangerous. It's not okay. And I'm not just saying this about Travis Hamonic. I'm speaking on a lot of things that go on the internet. You can't just like sit here and speculate about, this person being unvaccinated and all this stuff and saying because he's religious, like he's not getting the vaccine. How many times am I gonna have to say it? This guy isn't even a Flame anymore, and I talk about him more now than I did when he was on the team, for God's sakes. But he backed out of the bubble because his child has a life-threatening heart condition, like a life-threatening heart condition. And you're gonna sit here and tell me this man, like, wouldn't get vaccinated in a heartbeat for her? And like I said, I'm pretty sure his wife is sick as well. I don't understand. And then we're gonna talk about Jimmy Hayes for a minute. So this is just a trigger warning for drug abuse, substance abuse. Thanks for listening. If you have to click off, I completely understand. Jimmy Hayes died unexpectedly in September, and no one knew why, and people were speculating, and I don't think it's fair to speculate, just like I don't think it's fair to speculate with Travis Hamonic. My thought was, oh, he probably had like a heart attack in his sleep or something, or a brain bleed. I don't know, because like I don't know these things, but the toxicology reports came back, and he had fentanyl in his system. And for those of you who don't know, fentanyl is pretty much, they use it in hospitals to put people into medically induced comas, but they also put it in cocaine, heroin, and they lace drugs with it because I guess it like makes the high better, or it's just another form of substance abuse. But Jimmy developed an addiction after an injury. And how many times have we heard this now? And I'm sorry if this is ranty, if this is not something you want to listen to, but please hear me out, okay? I know far too many people who had a simple injury from high school soccer and went to the doctor because they hurt their ankle, hurt their knee, and they were prescribed OxyContin. And then they got addicted. And I'm talking like 16, 17-year-old girls. And the scripts eventually run out. Doctor's not going to write anymore. And you know what's a lot cheaper on the street? Is heroin. And obviously Jimmy wasn't doing heroin. He developed a cocaine addiction. And he is not less of a human being because he suffered from an addiction. Addicts are people, okay? Like, we need to stop dehumanizing people and thinking less of them because they have a substance abuse problem. Do you talk horribly about your friends who drink and black out and get drunk? No, I don't think people do. And my rule of thumb is, if you wouldn't say it to Jimmy's wife or his 2 babies or Kevin Hayes or any of his family in Dorchester, don't tweet it. And Kristen put out a statement saying, "Thank you for everyone who's been supportive. This was a very difficult thing to share. And I will still tell my sons to be like Jimmy, to be like Broadway, because he was an amazing person. He did so much. And his addiction does not define him. The same way it doesn't define you, someone you know, the person on the street that you make fun of because they're standing on the corner in dirty clothes. You never know what someone is going through. And I highly recommend people start doing their research, because this hits far too close to home to me, because obviously, like, Dorchester kid, I'm from Massachusetts. I know his cousin, and the addition of substance abuse just really makes it even closer to home for me. So I just would really like to see people be kinder. Jimmy still lit up every single room. He might have had an addiction, but that does not take away from who he was as a parent, as a husband, as a brother, as a son, as a leader, as a friend, and as a role model. Thank you, everyone, for listening to Locked On Flames, and we will see you tomorrow.